Hi, everyone. Welcome to Pendulum Friday. Thank you so very, very much for being here. Thank you for some really good questions. We're going to get started. Let's get going here. First question pertains to Alberta. Will Danielle Smith be removed from office before she destroys the province? All right. Now, the next election in Alberta is, I think it's October, I think the 18th of 2027. That's like a ways away. Um, the only way that I could understand that she would leave would be if there was actually a non-confidence vote from her own party. Let's see. Oh, will Danielle Smith be removed from office before the next election? Back to no. 3. Anybody who's new to Pendulum Friday, thanks for being here. When the pendulum goes round and round, it means no. When it goes back and forth, it's a yes. And when it just sort of stops, it means it's not going to tell us the answer. There is an answer. You know, the energies haven't settled enough to have an answer like that. Will Marjorie Taylor Greene run for the governor of Georgia? Because Brian Kemp cannot, right? He's at his limit. And there's questions about whether he's going to run for the Senate. He says no. But the point is, it leaves a space open for Georgia has to elect a new governor. So let's see. Will Marjorie Taylor Greene run for the governor of Georgia? Okay, well, right now that's a yes. Um, could she run? Will she win? Okay, so you can see this is like a non-answer, right? I'm just going to ask this additional question, see if we can. Is the next governor of Georgia going to be from the Democratic Party, from the Democrat Party? Okay, and as of right now, that's a really strong yes. Which makes sense, right? Because the Republicans are sort of in trouble, even in areas that, are kind of considered like safe, right? Trump is messing with powerful people. Any chance they'll remove him one way or another? Don't forget, this is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so there's a chance. Um, don't take that as a yes. Uh, it's a chance, right? Can also snow in June, that could happen too, right? Um, so this is interesting. The $400 million plane is already in the US and has been accepted. It is said to be a gift to the Department of Defense and then go to Trump's presidential library. I tried to confirm that plane was actually on American soil, and I couldn't find any information telling me that. Assuming he will be allowed to accept the gift, will he use it to escape the U.S. after he leaves office? Okay, that's a no. Let me just break down that question a little bit. When Trump leaves office, is he going to remain in the United States? Okay, that's a no. Um, will the plane be accepted? So as of right now, there's a non-answer. Um, Apparently, it's going to cost somewhere in the vicinity of $1 billion, 1 billion with a B, to outfit that plane so that it meets the standards that an Air Force One jet has, right? So there's all kinds of stuff that it just simply needs to be part of the plane that your president's flying around in. And what they're saying is that getting that plane ready to fly under those conditions is probably going to take longer than he will be in office. So I guess the only way he could end up flying on that thing is if he can't get him out of office. But as of right now, and there's a lot of pushback. I mean, even Republicans are just shaking their head and saying this cannot stand, right? I mean, this is a $400 million bribe. And if it's absolutely not, well, it sure looks like one. And let's say, perception is reality, right? And he already has enough stuff going on, frankly, with grifting, right? He's got the whole Bitcoin thing going on. As you, I'm sure, are aware, there is a golf course that is an 18-hole golf course that is being built, I think in Dubai, but I could be wrong, somewhere in that area. Um, I suppose um, that may be somewhere where he thinks to retire to. I don't know. Okay, will the plane be accepted? Did we get an answer on that? I'm just going to ask again. Will the plane be accepted? Okay, we got a non-answer. All right. Is Trump going to run from the USA and live in the Middle East? Okay, well, interestingly, excuse me, interestingly, that's a yes. I was not exactly sure that the word run, well, I'm sure it's what you're thinking. Um, but it's like, if he retires and moves to the Middle East, does that qualify as running, right? But I guess that's right now. Pendulum says, yep, that's what he's going to do. Did Trump give classified info or top secret documents to Cutter? Well, according to the pendulum, the answer is yes. Is that why he is being given the $400 million plane, the $400 million plane? Okay, you've got a yes here. Is that the only reason that he's receiving the plane? No, I think he's done more than a couple favors. Is the $400 million plane outfitted with spy equipment? All right, well, as of right now, they're saying no. I guess if the plane is still not on American soil, if it's still under their purview. It's always possible that they might act something. I am reminded of I think it was a basketball that Putin gave to Trump um, oh my God, for his son. And that was that trip where, Trump was saying the whole, I don't know why, Russia would lie to us or do mean things, that trip. But apparently, in any case, once they got a hold of the basketball, um, and opened it up, right, it was full of, listening devices or whatever was in there. So, yeah, he really wasn't forbearing to play with. Um, is this gift/bribe the trigger that will get Trump impeached or removed from office? Okay, the different things. Let's try this. Will this result in him being impeached? Okay, so that's interesting because it's a yes, but the only way that can happen is if it's actually still allowed to get the plane, because what's going on is they're saying that no, giving the whole plane thing, that's still being negotiated with the Trump administration. It hasn't happened yet, so they're trying to, people with the plane are trying to backtrack, and meanwhile Trump's out there yelling and screaming because he would be an absolute fool not to accept what an amazing gift. He also says that um, once he leaves office, he will not ever again fly in that plane. He just wants the plane to be his Air Force One during his presidency. Um, so one questions, if it's going to cost like $1 billion to outfit the plane for presidential safety and security, how much is it going to cost to rip it all out? Because he's not going to, there's only one president flying an Air Force One at a time. You don't have two Air Force Ones, flying around with a current president and a past president. So that's going to be interesting. Um, okay, so that was a yes. Was that a yes on the impeachment? Let's try this. A removed from office. Is the plane going to be something that ultimately gets him removed from office? Sorry, it's a yes. Did Saudi Arabia, which is the next door neighbor to Qatar, have anything to do with the gift? So what we're looking at is a small no. Um, I think if it's ever completely investigated, what you're going to find is sort of that, what's that called? Plausible deniability. Um, so with the energy around it is they didn't have something specific to do, but there was talk of it or suggestions or that kind of thing. Jasmine Crockett, she's quite the little firecracker, isn't she? Is an excellent and honest debater and lawyer. She stands for the people. I wonder how afraid 45 is of her. So let's see if we can. Does 45 consider Jasmine Crockett um, threat of some kind? Okay, yes. I'm asking this separate. Does he feel like she is a does he feel that her agitation that she creates is going to negatively impact his presidency? He does. Is she safe from him? What is safe? Um, is her position safe? Okay, that's a yes. Is her physical being safe? It's a yes. It's a slightly smaller yes, but it is a yes. Is she taking appropriate measures with regards to her own personal safety and security and that of her family? Yes. Okay. There's a rumor that Trump is planning to pardon Derek Chauvin for the murder of George Floyd. Will he? As of right now, it's a no. Is it something that he is considering? Unfortunately, yes. Okay. Does Trump ever intend to leave the Oval Office since he has moved his gold trinkets in there? I'm telling you, that is an embarrassment. What he has done to that Oval Office. Oh my God. And I'm Canadian and I'm embarrassed for you guys. Um, does Trump ever actually plan on leaving the office? Yes. Does he plan on leaving office at the end of this current term? That's a non-answer there. And what I'm getting is energetically, a lot of that is going to depend on what kind of shape the Republican Party is. Um, let's ask this. It's a bit early, but let's just ask this. Is the 2026 midterm election going to result in significant losses for the Republicans? It's a yes. Will the Democrats have enough votes for a strong majority? Okay, it's a little yes. Is there going to be interference with the voting or vote gathering in that election? Sorry, right now it's a little yes. Is EM a Russian agent? That's a no. Um, He's considered, I'm being told, um, too full of ego and too erratic. So I guess it's thought that he couldn't actually be controlled. Even though he has pulled back from Dode, is he still having conversations with Putin? It's a yes. I wonder what they talk about. Is Peter Thiel a Russian agent? So Peter Thiel is the guy that Vance worked under, and he is the one who handed over fistfuls of money, basically, to get Vance into the office of vice president. Is he a Russian agent? That's a yes. That concerns me. Mexico has sued Google over the Gulf of Mexico name change. The name change only applies to Google Map users in the United States. Will the lawsuit go anywhere? Yes. Will Google have to ultimately back off or backtrack from that? That's a non-answer. I think it's one of those things that there's sort of an intention to revert back um, once 45 is no longer holding the reins, is no longer as powerful as he currently is. And I mean, we don't have to like it, but the reality is you have those billionaires bending the knee to him. California has offered free health care to migrants. Newsom is now trying to walk that back. Has Governor Newsom of California gone mega? It's a really, really strong no. Um, I'll just ask a couple more questions about him. Is Newsom contemplating a presidential run? It's something he's thinking about. Yes. As a result of the next federal election, will a Democrat ascend to the office of president? Okay, that's a yes. And don't forget, the pendulum tends to answer based on sort of the energies right now. So there you have it. All right. Thank you very, very much for being here. I will look forward to seeing you next week. It's Friday. What are you going to do? Do something nice for yourself and someone else. And until the next time I see you, take care and be well. Bye for now.